Maybe you're thinking about hiring a resume writer to help you craft the perfect resume to jumpstart your job search. But I want you to think about a couple of things before you hire anybody. So, this video is going to cover two things: how to select the perfect resume writer, and also tips for how you should work with the resume writer. So first, let's talk about the different kinds of resume writers there are. There are, on the less expensive side, there are companies that basically have somebody sitting in a cubicle, a whole bunch of people sitting in cubicles, and they have a template, and they usually have just a set number of revisions that you can get. And they basically take your information and plop it into this template, and maybe you get one or two revisions, and then you're sent on your merry way. That's the low end, and prices for that range dramatically. Here in New York City, I've seen them as low as $50 to $100. And if it's a budget consideration, then okay, go for it. On the higher end, and that's where I am personally, on the higher end, there are people who work one-on-one with you. They're solo practitioners, or maybe they work at a company, but the company dedicates them to work with you while the project is ongoing. And some of those providers also have, limitations on how many revisions you can have. Personally, I don't, because I don't think the resume should be done until both the client and I are both satisfied. But that's another issue. Those working with a provider like that can run you upwards between $500 and $1,000. Some people even charge more. And that's fine. You just have to find the provider that fits in your budget. But regardless of which direction you go in, you want to make sure that the person you engage knows about the recruitment process. So a client recently came to me with this horrible resume, and it was really bad. And she said she paid someone on Fiverr to write it for her. And I said, well, it looks like something you got for $5. I mean, seriously. It was terrible. What did this person know about the recruitment process? Clearly nothing. So when you hire a resume writer, you want to make sure that this person understands recruitment. They don't have to have had a career in HR like I did, but they really should be very, very familiar with the process. They should also understand how applicant tracking system software works, because that's not going away, even though I don't think it's the only way to apply for a job, but that's something we cover in other videos. So what are some tips for you to use to have a successful relationship with your resume writer? Well, the first thing I would say is know what it is you want to do before you engage this person, because I've had clients who start out saying, well, this is my career, but I want to change it to that. And then we start working on that resume, and they say, you know what, I'm more comfortable staying with what I was doing before. Maybe I just need to find a different employer. Fine, you've just wasted a ton of time, not to mention your money. So have a very clear idea about which direction you want to go. Look at some job postings before you engage a resume writer, and make sure that your experience aligns with what those employers are looking for. And another tip for working with your resume writer is to make sure that you've set your expectations so that he or she can respond with what they're willing to address with respect to those expectations. You don't want any unpleasant surprises. So I would also ask for a client agreement in writing specifying what the terms of working with that provider is. So just to wrap it up, plenty of people write their own resumes, and on my channel I've given you lots of tips for how to do that yourself. But if you want to take it to the next level and you want to engage with a resume writer, make sure the person knows about the recruitment process, Make sure you're comfortable with that person. Ask to see samples of that person's work, and make sure you have a clear sense of your direction and where you want your career to go. Thank you for watching my video. You want to learn more about resume writing and how it can help jumpstart your job search? Head over to my website, risingstarresumes.net, and you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from you. And while you're at it, watch some more of my videos to learn about interview tips and what should and should not be on your resume.